Hello, my name is Leslie, and this is my journey to surrender. I don't know that I've lost track of days. Still have not touched pornography. Again, I've lost track of days, so yay. For however many days it's been. I would be lying to say I've been doing great in my walk with Christ. I really have not. I kind of do this thing where I'm like, okay, back on fire, and I start walking in those convictions that I have, and then I start getting distracted by the world again, and what was I saying? Oh, the TV and the shows and the movies and the books. And I know that right now I'm not at a place where I should be reading them, watching them, and I should just be focusing on getting stuff done that I feel God has called me to get done. And anyway, while I was struggling with the my brain is not working. While I was struggling with my walk with Christ, obviously, far from Him, struggling with that shame of I walked away again. I was scrolling on the Instagram, and I came across some conspiracy theories. And these conspiracies got me to get my Bible out. Some really interesting ones, flat earth, the giants and the Nephilim, stuff like that. And anyway, never would have thought conspiracy theories were what were going to get me back in my word and have me praying again. But, He uses everything. But my latest hyperfixation that I am fixated on is the book of Enoch. I'm doing all this research on it because with these conspiracy theories, the conspiracy theorists that are Christians, I keep seeing them bring up the oh my word, I can't speak. Big meeting, all church people. These books, canon. These ones, not canon. These books, in the Bible. These books, not in the Bible. And a lot of them are... Whoa, what's going on here? I don't know what's going on. There we go. So, a lot of them bring up all these books, and one of the ones that keeps getting brought up is the book of Enoch. And now I am hyper fixated on all these books, and not all of them. I understand why a lot of the New Testament ones, like the book of Barabbas, Mary's book, I want to say there's a book of Thomas. I know the reason why those ones were excluded. And that was because they came far after Christ's ascension. Like they were written after the time of a person that could have been with Christ, you know? And they were supposedly writing about Christ and being with him. But they were written down at a time when the person couldn't have even been alive. So that's the reason why those were, which in terms of reliability makes perfect sense. But the Book of Enoch is supposedly like, Enoch was Noah's grandfather. Hold on. Enoch. I've been using this thing so much and I love it so much. Okay, so Enoch, which apparently Enoch was originally just oral tradition. And then it was during the 400 years between Old Testament and New Testament, so all the prophecies in Jesus' coming, that they were all like, let's write them down. So it's hard to find all of that reliable, because apparently I haven't read any of the books of Enoch yet. I'm just doing research on them right now. Let me finish this thought first. So Enoch is, hold on, not Cain's son. We're talking about, Enoch is Methuselah's father. And so he's Moses' grandfather. Hold on. How does Adam, Seth, what? Methuselah. Where's Noah? Noah came from Lamech, which is Methuselah's son. Oh! And Methuselah is the son of Enoch. It makes that note right there. Now, why on earth did they do that? That was confusing. Okay. So yeah, no. It went Adam, Seth, Enos, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, I'm butchering these names, and then Noah. So Enoch is Noah's grandfather. Was Enoch alive when Noah was alive? No, he was not. But he was alive when his father was alive, as well as Methuselah. Oh my gosh, there's so many notes on this thing. Methuselah talks with Seth 355 years, and with Enos 453 years, and with Canaan 548 years, and with Mahalalel 603 years, and with Jared 735 years, and with Enoch 300 years. Okay. Oh my gosh, and it also talks about who Noah talked to. Noah talked with Canaan 179 years, with Mahalalel 334 years, and with 234 years, with Jared 366 years, and with Lamelech 595 years. Lamelech being his father, and Lamelech, oh, he died 5 years before the flood. Oh wait, what? Whoa, I read that wrong. Hold on. Lamelech is the first man on record who died a natural death before his father. Wait, what? So how did everyone else die? What? Okay, I'm going down rabbit holes, and I don't even remember what my point was. Oh, Enoch. Apparently, Enoch's words and stuff were only oral traditions up until that time between Old Testament and New Testament, which is 400 years. And it has many authors because many people wrote stuff down. And my thing is Jude, the book of Jude, which is considered canon, does quote the book of Enoch, apparently. Again, I'm still researching this. Why don't I just go to the verse? Anyway, but that's my newest obsession right now. And I'm kind of just one of those, I guess it wouldn't hurt to read it. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to. It seems unreliable. It also has a lot of stuff that talks about the spiritual realm, which is so interesting. I've always been so curious about the spiritual realm. And at the same time, I don't know. I've got so many thoughts on it. Because one, how much are we actually supposed to know about the spiritual realm? Granted, from what I've heard about the Book of Enoch, I don't know what's bad about knowing that stuff. I don't know. I'm hearing lots of different things. Right now, I've got 2 different articles open. One of them is for the Book of Enoch, and he's bringing up a few different thingamajiggies. Some early Christian theologians, parts of the Bible that he believed quoted Enoch. And then I have one that's against the Book of Enoch. And it's bringing up the oral traditions, the fact that, and again, I haven't read it, so I don't even know if it's true, but he says that the Book of Enoch is heavily influenced by Babylon and Greek and Roman mythology. And his argument is that the authors of the Book of Enoch had all these theories and ideas, and they wanted them to be seen as credible, so they attached it to Enoch because his oral traditions were held in really high esteem. So, and one of the people that was for it talked about how it had stuff pertaining to the Messiah. And the person that was against it talked about how the book of Enoch describes some of these giants as being like thousands of feet tall. And how are those giants supposed to be breeding with humans? Which is a valid point as well. And that was actually something that I had been curious about, because I had actually had the thought, because I read in Genesis, you know, the sons of man had children with the daughters of men, and the Nephilim, and how strong they were. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like Greek and Roman mythology. What if Greek and Roman mythology came from the Nephilim? Okay, so I had this whole theory for a while now, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so curious about the book of Enoch. I've had this theory for a while now that I don't necessarily think that all of these like gods from all these different religions are made up. I don't think they're God, but I'm starting to think that they are actually real. They did actually interact with people, and they're actually just the fallen angels. Especially because, like, you look at some of the Hindu and the Buddhist gods, like the multiple arms and the multiple eyes, and it's like, it's given angel. You know what I mean? And I think of Greek mythology, which I have always been fascinated with. And I do think, again, I don't believe that they are God, but I do believe that there is truth in every lie. You know, the enemy cannot create anything. He just kind of corrupts things. And I could totally see, especially because he wanted to be worshipped himself, he found a way to be worshipped. And I look at like Baal, I look at Moloch, I look at them and I'm like, okay, but it's giving fallen angel. So there's a part of me that's like, I want to read the book of Enoch. And there's another part of me that's like, it's unreliable. It's very frustrating to me that they were just oral. But why would they keep oral traditions for that long? Like, why wouldn't they write them down? And this is I really struggle with the things that I need to, like, there are certain things that I will only know when I get to see God face to face and actually ask him all these questions. And that is so hard for me. Because I like clear, precise answers. I want to know the answers to the questions, and having to just accept that I don't get to know is so hard. And I can't get over the fact that a book of the Bible that's considered canon, oh my gosh, but then that could get into that conspiracy as well. because there's this other conspiracy about this dude who whistleblowed in 1969, if I'm remembering correctly, and he started talking about how they were going to try and corrupt the Bible by changing keywords. Well, changing keywords, that doesn't necessarily mean rewriting the whole thing, so maybe that's not it. But the one problem with that is that we still have all of the manuscripts. Like, all of the original manuscripts, we still have them. So it would be so hard to corrupt our modern Bible. But now there's so many people that are like looking for these old Bibles. And the thing about the old Bibles is that they were written in a time where not many, like, everyday people were literate. It was only the wealthy class that was literate. And so now this is the problem with conspiracy theories, because now I've heard them and I just want to know the truth. And I want to read the book of Enoch so bad. Most of the books I'm curious. And when I was reading these articles, I found little, like, they would put little snippets. And some of the snippets, this guy was actually showing how other parts of the Bible probably quoted Enoch as well. Some of those parts being Jesus himself. And so I'm just... And then that brings into consideration whether or not, because if Enoch is not reliable, but then it gets me thinking, if the book of Enoch is considered unreliable and Jude quotes it, does that now mean Jude is unreliable? Y'all get where I'm going with this. And like, science and history does back the Bible. At least the Old Testament. And at least the Gospels. Revelations can be cross-referenced to really like all of the major and minor prophets. My only kind of thought around this is that Jude was quoting the oral tradition, not the written. And now I'm frustrated because it's like, if it was a common oral tradition, why did no one correct it when all this other stuff started getting sprinkled into it? And why were there so many manuscripts of it with the Dead Sea Scrolls? If it was a common oral tradition, and now my brain is just working overtime. I do like conspiracy theorists. Honestly, I've been curious about the whatever it's called for a hot minute. I've heard some of the reasons why we don't include it. But now my little noggin is going through all these thoughts. And I personally do not think that it's a bad thing. I don't think it's blasphemous, because I personally don't believe that God is afraid of the truth, because he is truth. And yeah, and I know I'm frustrated because I want to know the truth, and I don't know if I can find like a definite for sure answer. And that is the thing about conspiracy theories. They are good because they get people actually thinking and using their critical brain. They are bad because they can bring so much chaos. And we live in a day and age where there's so much information. And on top of all that information, we now have to worry about AI and people that just create lies and pass it off as truth. I wonder what companies manufacture the Bibles, because I've never looked into that either. I have so many questions just roaming around in my head. So many things that I thought I knew, I'm now questioning, which I don't think is a bad thing. Again, the truth isn't afraid of doubt or questions, because the truth is the truth. And there's a part of me that's like, I want to run down this rabbit hole because I want to know the truth. And there's another part of me that's like, and what if it's all a distraction? Because that is the thing about conspiracy theories. You go down those rabbit holes so much time can go into it. Not that I don't have so much time on my hands. It is really interesting. I did not think that my journey to surrender would end up being me questioning so much. Because now, as though I don't have enough things I want to learn about the Bible. Because so many things have gotten brought up. So there's just the earth and how it's formed. Round earth, flat earth, Agartha. Where's my paper that has all the things I want to look into that I'm curious about? And I can't believe I just said flat earth on the internet. Like I'm actually considering flat earth. Because I'm an intellectual. I'm not just about conspiracy theories. I'm about science. And science and the solar system has been, like, there's pictures and NASA and all this, but then you start getting into the conspiracy theories about NASA and stuff about it, and now I'm doing all this research. And of course, I'm not just, like, that one is another one that, like, right here, the Bible can be researched hand in hand with that one. But there's two different things. There's the flat earth, and then there's Agartha. I lost my paper that had, oh, no, I didn't. It's up here in Genesis, because I was looking at some points that the flat earth people made about Genesis. Anyway. That is not it. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, Agartha. And flat earth. The Book of Enoch. The colossal temples, trees, and the mountains that look like giants. The Hoover Dam Memorial. Freemasons. I have no idea who those are, but those kept coming up. And then Tataria. I think that's another earth thing. And I've been writing them down because it's all just been... But Agartha, Tataria, and the flat earth are all just different earth form theories. And this is all just... Oh, and that... Oh, yeah, see? And that's just leading into other conspiracies. And it's like, do I spend the time to research this? Because one, is it really that important? Is the truth really that important? Yes, actually, the truth is really important. But then there's also, like, all these things that I've mentioned, they're not exactly salvation issues. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's my thoughts and what I've been, yeah. So yeah, I'm currently reading about the book of Enoch. Because I don't know whether or not I want to. I just hurt myself with the bottom of this bottle. Interesting. Because I'm debating reading the Book of Enoch. Maybe I should just read it. I might honestly just read it. And you see, that's where Jude quotes it. I might have to just put all these links to the Book of Enoch articles that I'm reading in the description of this video, in case anyone else wants to dive down this rabbit hole with me. Because they're, yeah, no, and I'm tired. My little brain is tired, but it won't turn off. So I think I'm gonna turn this off and continue reading about the Book of Enoch. And I've considered creating a document of conspiracy theories, sources, and stuff like that, because I have all these things and I want to get them organized, and the only way I can think to do that is create a document and put all my research in it. And then with all the research laid out, I feel like I'm wasting time. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Have fun, stay safe, and don't die. If you do, give Jesus a hug for me. Doodles.